Do the Chicago Blackhawks really have the deepest prospect pool in the NHL? Well, yes they do. And to state my bias immediately, I'm a Sharks fan. And I'm sure most of you have felt this weird animosity or rivalry between the Sharks and Blackhawks, which is pretty bizarre because our two tanking teams who are both as bad as the Sharks and Blackhawks even allowed to be in a rivalry with each other. Okay, Hawks fans, I have a proposal, okay? Until both of our teams are back competing in the playoffs again, how about a ceasefire? And to reflect that, in this video, I'll try to be as honest and as neutral as I could possibly be. Anyways, welcome back to my series where I'm ranking my top 5 prospect pools in the NHL. And in this video, I will be going over the Chicago Blackhawks and how they land at number 3 in my rankings. I'll be going over their best prospects, their strengths, their weaknesses, and I'll give you a hint because it's pretty obvious. Their biggest strength is in their depth. And super quick, I know everyone has a different definition for what a prospect is. So quickly to go over that, I'm defining a prospect as a player who is 24 or younger and has played in 20 or fewer games, and obviously has already been drafted to an NHL. So for the Blackhawks specifically, that means no Nazar, Korchinski, or Del Mastro. So starting out, here are my top 10 prospects in the Blackhawks system. And like I said earlier, in my opinion, this is the deepest pool in the NHL. So narrowing this list to just 10 players was next to impossible. If I had more time, I would have loved to expand this list to 15 or even 20 prospects, because the Blackhawks definitely have that many players worth talking about. But as you're looking at this list, please let me know what you would have done differently in the comments below. Did I miss anyone, or is anyone graded too highly? Let me know. Starting at number 1, I have Anton Fondell. And the top 3 players on this list are very interchangeable, and I wouldn't be mad if some of you had Lev Yashin or even Renzel ranked here at number 1, but for me, I have Fondell here purely because of his potential. Also, I'm a sucker for a good one-timer. And Fondell has already mastered that. He's already a tank with the puck. He's great at leveraging his body to keep defenders away, and already plays a very mature and confident style of hockey. Because of that, and for other reasons as well, he's being compared to a player like Sasha Boy. And I think we've learned over the past couple of years that a player like that, pretty good come playoff time. We'll see if Fondell can live up to that lofty comparison, but he already offers such an enticing package of a booming shot, strength, more than decent speed, and some pretty tight handles. Fondell will return to your gardens this year and play in the SHL. 2, I have Lev Yashin. And at first, when he was drafted, I was never the biggest fan of his, but I'll admit it, the more I've watched of Lev Yashin, the more I get it. He's the definition of a two-way defender. Lev Yashin has got close to elite skating. It's good enough to make it hard for opposing forwards to catch him out of position. He also displayed really good puck moving skills. Lev Yashin ended the year a lot hotter than he began it, and logged 5 assists in just 10 NHL games. I don't know, let me know if I'm wrong here, guys, but last I checked, speedy, puck moving, right shot D-man are pretty valuable in the NHL. At 3rd, I have Sam Renzel, and I've seen a ton of Blackhawks fans being super excited about what they've seen out of Renzel already, and they should be. 6'4" D-man with incredible offensive instincts don't come around very often. Pair that with great mobility and playmaking, and you see why sky is the limit for Renzel's potential. In Renzel's 9 NHL games this last year, he had 5 assists, and he looked pretty dang impressive while doing so. I would love to see Renzel add some strength to his frame and also maybe refine his defensive game a little, but those things come with time. I believe he's expected to start with the Blackhawks this year. The Hawks fans, correct me if I'm wrong there. At 4 and 5, I have 2 more amazing center prospects for Chicago, Sasha Boy and Oliver Moore. I had a really hard time figuring out which one to rank above the other, but I ultimately chose Boy for his size and youth advantage. Boy is transferring to Boston University after a great season leading North Dakota in points. I was pleasantly surprised how well he adjusted to the NCAA and expect him to continue to build on his two-way game. Considering the grit, speed, and skills Boy possesses, I believe he projects well as a middle 6 forward, which is exactly what you need from him in Chicago. Obviously, first and maybe even second line center roles are pretty set in stone over there. Next is the previously mentioned Oliver Moore, and the 2 things that have always stuck out to me about Moore are his incredible hustle and great anticipation. And because of those skills, he always seems to be the first to any loose puck on the ice. And he's a great skater. Moore possesses amazing acceleration and edge work. Even though I gave Boy the size advantage over Moore, that does not mean that Moore is a small dude. At nearly 200 pounds, I think Moore's skill package make him really flexible to slide into any role that Chicago needs him to be in the future. Next, I have Merrick Vaner, and even though due to injury he missed the entire training camp before this last season, he still had a pretty good year in Brantford. I really like his puck handling efficient, especially on the rush, and he's able to tie it all together with an accurate shot. He also brings a surprising amount of grit and tenacity to his game, exactly what you want out of a middle line winger. Even though Vaner is a decent skater, I would love to see some improvement there. I also don't feel like he's great at this point in his game at utilizing his line mates to drive offense. But guys like Vaner are exactly who you want to surround Bedard with. Staying in Brantford, we have Nick Lardis. And I know many of you Blackhawks fans may be surprised to see Lardis ranked so low on my list with the insane numbers he put up this last year, but let me explain. First of all, to get the obvious out of the way, his shot is lethal. You don't score 71 goals without a deadly shot. Lardis also has great hands, able to pump handle into open ice to set up his deadly shot. But where I have a harder time with Lardis' game starts on defense. He doesn't always seem engaged in the defensive zone and gets out-muscled pretty easily. He really needs to add strength and physicality to his game if he wants to be anything other than a sniper at the next level. But I don't know, Blackhawks fans, am I crazy for having Lardis this low? Roman Canerov is next, and I'm a big fan of his game. Canerov plays at a very fast, almost breakneck pace. He seems to always be pushing the puck up the ice. I was impressed with the great point production he put up in the KHL, a notoriously difficult league to score in. Canerov even surprised me with being able to withstand a lot of pretty intense physical pressure from grown men. Don't be fooled or surprised. Canerov is a sneaky good prospect and someone I wouldn't be shocked at if he bursted onto the scene in the NHL. Now with who I believe is Chicago's best goalie prospect, and that's Drew Commesso. And Commesso really impressed me this year. He posted a .911 save percentage in the AHL with Rockford. He's a great example of being both technically and athletically skilled. With the really good acquisition of Spencer Knight this last year, I don't see Commesso becoming a full-time NHL goalie until next season at the earliest, but who knows with how up and down the goalie position can be. Lastly, I have Vladislav Nestrasil, an extremely intriguing prospect who Chicago just drafted this last year. Definitely understand the logic in drafting him because Nestrasil's got a 6'6" frame, great hustle, and solid speed. In my opinion, exactly what you want to build around Connor Bedard. He needs to fill out and add some weight, and his game is pretty raw, but playing for UMass this upcoming season will be a great place for Nestrasil's development. But man, can you guys imagine if this guy's able to fill out and become that true power forward that Chicago needs? He just might need a few years to get there. And a few players who just missed the list who I wanted to mention anyways are Mason West, a player who played football in high school, who is, I believe, 6'7". You have Nathan Bem and Adam Gajan, another one of Chicago's really intriguing goalie prospects. And there you have it. For me, the strength, like I've said many times already, is in the depth. I think if you compared Chicago's prospect pool to anyone else's, you could take players who are at 10th to 15th to their 20th best players, and they can stand up against anyone else's in the league. Their system is just loaded with talent just waiting to come to the NHL. With Lev Yashin and Renzel headlining, they have a very impressive defensive core. Also, really solid at the center position as well. For their weaknesses, I don't know. I think they've got a really well-rounded prospect pool, but if I had to nitpick, I'm not sure that Chicago has their true goalie prospect of the future. Also, Blackhawks fans, let me know, but do you really have Bedard's line mates of the future? I know you have Fondell, but I just don't know if his true line mates are in this system. Maybe, we'll see. Worst case scenario, obviously there are many ways to surround a star player with talent outside of your prospect pool. But anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for everyone that's watched. Thanks for all of everyone who's commented in my past videos. Please continue. I've really enjoyed talking with a bunch of you and having some discussions and learning about each of your prospect pools in greater detail. So please, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing, as that really helps me out. You guys have a good one. All right, bye.